So let me call the meeting to order, and we'll start. It's a special meeting of the OCFC board, and we'll start with the roll call. Ed Diana.
Here.
Jim DiSalvo.
Present.
Steve Brescia.
Here.
Mike Gaydos.
Here.
Bob Schreibeis.
Here.
John McCarey.
Here.
And then we have Laurie, Vinny, Melanie, and Russ, and Kevin Dowd, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Okay, so the first order of business is to designate a small business resiliency loan committee.
That's correct. So Kevin has an agenda prepared, which I just sent out to everybody, but essentially this will allow the committee, which is comprised of Mary Ellen, Jim DiSalvo, and Eddie Diana with an alternate of Mike Gaydos, to meet on a potentially weekly basis, review the loan requests and approve them. And then that committee will report to the board at our monthly meetings. So Kevin, did you want to?
Okay. Resolution authorizing the establishment of the COVID-19 Small Business Resiliency Loan Committee, naming the members thereto, and authorizing said committee to review, process, and award loans.
So I'll entertain, you need a motion and a second, correct, Kevin?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, thank you. And then just
Mr. Schreibeis?
I made the motion.
Yeah, okay, I understand.
Needs a roll call.
Yes or no? It's the roll call. Mr. Schreibeis?
Yes.
Mr. Diana?
Yes.
Mr. Brescia?
Yes.
Mr. DiSalvo?
Yeah.
Mr. Gaydos?
Yes.
Mr. McCarey?
Yes.
Chairwoman Rogulski?
Yes.
There's your 7 ayes, Madam Chairwoman. The resolution's approved.
Okay, thank you. So that get the loan fund in business, I guess. And I don't believe there's anything else. Is there anything else on the agenda?
Yes, there is. There's another resolution.
Oh, right. Okay.
So do you want me to speak a little bit to this contract, or we
Yeah.
or with the resolution? Okay, so again, in your emails, I've sent everybody a copy of the engagement letter with UHY. UHY, as a reminder, is our accountant bookkeeper for our sort of daily business. We've reached out to them to walk us through the lending process, essentially, and you'll see that there are a list of items on the agreement, helping with the creation of an underwriting checklist, facilitate purchase of a third-party loan monitoring software, which is something that we're going to need. QuickBooks accounts needed to manage the loan fund, map the QuickBooks accounts, setup of loans in the monitoring software, check preparation for disbursements, establish best practices, and establish policies and procedures in the loan program from beginning to end, basically, with our cooperation, obviously, coordination and the use of electronic payments if we want to make those available, and assist in the policy for allowance for loan losses and procedures for monitoring and write-offs. So UHY has prepared this engagement. We have to work together to figure out really what the cost is going to be. They don't know what we need, and we don't know what we need yet either. So they've put a cap of $10,000 on this for now. We may have to revisit that very soon, but it's essentially going to be hourly rates to walk us through the designing and implementation of the loan fund. Kevin's reviewed this engagement and provided commentary. I don't think that there was anything that needed changing, Kevin, is that correct?
It was just trying to get a more detail on the actual services and how much it's going to cost the OCFC.
Right.
That's still to be determined.
Let me ask you a question along that line. Can we pay for this administration outside of the funding corp, or does it have to come through the funding corp for the administration end of it?
Kevin?
No, not supposed to. It's an OCFC expense. You can't use the IDA money to pay the OCFC expense.
Okay.
Okay.
Understood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea here is that once we get through, Melanie is overloaded with a ton of questionnaires. We were talking about it a little bit before we went live, but we have over, I think, 120 questionnaires and just around 15 applications so far. So once we've signed this, if the board approves this today, we'll immediately bring UHY in to help sort of streamline this process. Again, they're going to be doing everything on an hourly rate, so we'll monitor and revisit the cost of it as we're moving forward. It's just we couldn't really do anything with them without something in place. So is everybody comfortable with that, or are there any other questions about it?
Good.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I mean, if they're going to charge you an hourly rate, then you just have to determine what that is. The question is, how many hours is it going to take?
Right. And essentially they have the hourly rate in here. It's, for managing director, 210, senior 145. It depends on who's working when. My
Right.
plan is that once we've gotten through at least the first part of this, we'll have a better idea, and they could probably even offer us like a flat fee or, something, a fee for service versus an hourly rate.
Yeah, because the maximum applications we can approve is 50 anyway, so there's a
Correct.
ceiling.
Yeah. And then obviously once this part, the approval part, which is going to be the bulk of what we do, is done, and it transitions into just management of the outstanding funds, then I think it'll be cheaper because there will be less hands-on work. I mean, it'll be maintenance certainly, but I wouldn't imagine that it would be, as the cost is definitely going to be upfront and then managed over the remaining term.
This agreement only runs to the end of this year, not to the next couple of years, so.
Yeah.
Well, you have to think we can do it initially through the end of this year, but if, we don't experience 100% of our loans getting charged off, the loan fund is going to be there for 2 years, conceivably.
Yeah, so we left the expiration of December of 2020 in there just to get through this first part of it, and then have the opportunity to revise it either, if not prior to December 31st of this year, then certainly at that point, because that'll be the long-term maintenance portion versus the upfront approval portion.
Yeah, but I mean, I just think it's important for everybody to recognize that it's not, they're not going to fall off in December.
Correct.
So
Agreed.
I think that's good, because I don't think you guys could do all that on your own for sure.
No.
So.
Okay, Kevin?
Kevin, before you read that, we're not passing none of that expense is getting passed to the applicants, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Resolution authorizing the retention of UHY Advisors New York Incorporated to provide services to the OCFC for administration of the COVID-19 Small Business Resiliency Loan Program.
So move.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Schreibeis,
Yes.
Mr. Gaydos,
Yes.
Mr. Diana,
Yes.
Mr. Brescia,
Yes.
Mr. DiSalvo,
Yeah.
Mr. McCarey,
Yes.
Chairwoman Rogulski.
Yes.
There's your 7 ayes, Madam Chairwoman. The resolution is adopted.
All right. Thank you, folks.
Okay.
I think that's it. Unless you have something else you want to bring up or talk about, Laurie.
I just want to say one thing, just so that every board member knows. Like I mentioned before, we have a number of applications, certainly a very high number of questionnaires. I know we're getting feedback about, follow-ups and things like that. I just want everybody to know that we're processing everything as quickly as possible. It's obviously, a brand new program, so we're kind of learning as we go in terms of processing everything, making sure that we get everything monitored. A lot of this has to do with timing too, because of the volume. We have to make sure that we log everything in as it's received. So just want to let all the board members know that there's certainly every item is being addressed, but with so many items and so little time between, the launch and now, that there is a little bit of a lag in following up. But Melanie has responded to pretty much everybody that's come through, acknowledging their questionnaires. And then the application part is a lot more intensive in terms of review, because there are a number of documents and 3 pages worth of questions to fill out. So just want to let everybody know that we're moving as quickly as possible. And I think we'll still be in shape. We have a loan committee meeting scheduled for later this week. We'll be in shape to potentially address every application by Wednesday. Every application we've received up to Wednesday by Wednesday. So, but if anybody has questions about the process, let us know, because I know that there's probably a lot of questions that you guys are getting. No? Okay. Then that's it.
Okay. Great.
All right. Good job, you guys.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies.
All right.
Thank you.
Care.
All right, take care.